everyone, it's the 1st of March today, so I'm going to just do a quick run through of stitching for February. I've got everything stacked up quite precariously, so we're not going through chronologically or anything else, it's just how I've stacked things up, and I'm hoping that nothing's going to fall over. So, welcome back if you're a returning visitor, and welcome if you're visiting for the first time, new visitor. Anyway, whatever. Hello. I'm Nikki. This is Nikki Crafts cross stitch channel, and I mostly work on full coverage, but as you can see, on full coverage in front of you. So this year I'm doing the Whip Go challenge from Jessie Marie, and the first one I'm starting with is a finish. My goal for all of my Whip Go pieces is just to stitch on it for 5 days. And when I say 5 days, it's actually 3/4 of an hour in the morning before I start work. So they're generally non-full coverage, smaller pieces, and yay, I got the first one done. So I actually started Nightshade Bird last year, and I was stitching on it in December. And I put it on my Whip Go board 3 times. It got called in February. I stitched on it for 5 days, and I thought, I'm so close to a finish, I can get this done. So 6 days I stitched on it. I think on the 6th day I put a bit more than the 3/4 of an hour into it, and here we are, it's finished. This is Nightshade Bird from Plum Street Samplers. It's meant to be made into a pin drum, but I think I'm going to frame it because I like to see the whole thing. He's such a gorgeous bird. And it's all the called for threads, and the fabric I used is 36 count Tobias from Seraphim Fabrics. So, first one. So, that Whip Go finished, and coincidentally the 2 numbers that got picked out for March were both for Nightshade Bird. So I've adjusted my board, and I'm put another whip in that I started last year, and I'll be working on that for the 10 days to see how far I get. So then the other 5 days was Jane Cowie. It's a sampler from Scarlet House. Scarlet House. I don't have much to do, that is all I have left to do. So on Valentine's Day I stitched the heart. I finished off the berries on this side of the border, so this side's all done, and then I started the big odd butterfly. The light is not very good in here today, it's quite gloomy. And I've got berries stitched along the bottom. Basically I have all that to do here, and then there'll be a bit in the middle. So this is on my Whip Go a couple more times, but it hasn't been called again yet. I was going to work on it for more than the 5 days because it was out, but then something else called to me, so I switched projects. Because I do that. So, let's move this so things are, So, let's see, let's hold this. Now, this piece is the 2022 Mystery Stitch Along from Paine Crafts. I joined in because it's the artwork that Chris done, and I really like it, even though I don't have any Chris done pieces from Paine Crafts yet. It's something that I'm trying to decide which one to get, and whether to get pattern or kit. All the good things are deciding. So this is part 2. Part 1 is this frame, which as you can see I haven't finished, but I've got all of the outline bits of it, so I can place any of the parts when I want and finish off the frame as I get to those sections. Now, Paisley Rabbit is huge, she's about 21,000 stitches, and I've done 10% on it. I've reached the bunny ears, which was a bit of a goal. The next part is out today. We weren't meant to finish this section in this month. That is a lot of stitches to do. I think the idea is we kind of jump around, so we'll do part 3, and then when part 3 is done, come back and do a bit more part 2 to finish off the month. I don't know if I'm going to do that, because at the moment I don't have any fixed time when I'm working on this stitch along. So I may just focus on part 2, get part 2 done, the bits of the frame that need to be done around it, and then move on. Part 3 is a lot smaller, and it's great. It's Mr. Toad, and I really want to stitch it, but I don't know if I could cope with all the moving around. I do like to focus in on one piece and get it done, like you saw with Nightshade Bird. I like to finish bits, so we'll see. I want to at least get Paisley's face in. So, I don't know. It's so good. So many decisions, but I'm really enjoying it. This is actually stitched on 28 count over 2. There are fractionals in this piece, so I couldn't go with my normal 28 count over 1. So it's huge, it's big, and it's going to look wonderful. So next. So yeah, I'll be stitching on that again this month, doing bits and pieces as and when I can. Now we have the thing that I've been working on for the last 7 days, which is a stitch in time. I only got 7 days into it, so I didn't have enough days to get the page finished, but as you can see, nearly there. There is so much confetti in this little jar. I think it's little jars of little spools of silk, but it does look like an orc jar, so I kind of like that too. But oh, so many colours and single stitches, and this is not even the max colour version, this is just regular version. So I dread to think what it would be like on max colour. And then this flower was a Paine as well, with lots of single stitches. This wasn't too bad, but I like working greens. Working a lot of greens at the moment with the stitch along and on this part. So I stitched on it for 7 days, and I got 3,940 stitches in on it, which is good going. This one will be back out in April, and I will get that page finished, and then I'll be back to finishing that jar. So that's going to take a while. So, wrong one. There we go. I told you I had too much things on top of each other. So, next up we have Nightmare from Gecko Rouge. Funny angle and funny light. Can I make it any better? I don't know. So, Jack's face. Oh, that was every bit as filled with confetti as I thought that was going to be. Let's zoom in so you can see it looks wonderful. I love his little moustache. Cat. I love the cat too, but Jack is looking gorgeous. Face painted up. So I finished these 2 pages. That's page 9 and 10. The background was a huge relief to work in with all that confetti, so I was switching quite a lot. And then at the end I just made a small start over here on page 11 at the end of the month. But for this one, 16 days in total, including some lunchtime stitching, and that was 4,826 stitches on this piece. So that was nice to get done. I'm actually going to be working on Bizarre Bookshelf instead of Nightmare this month, so I'm going to switch between those two. At some point Nightmare will go into the evening rotation. Right, so yeah, she'll get 3. It will get 3 weeks at a time at some point in the future. And then this is the first thing I stitched for the first 21 days of February. I had to think then where we were. February. Trick or Treat, Haven Earth Designs, Randall Spangler. This one's actually stitched on 28 count, easy count, 1/1, 4 crosses. A stitching time is also 28 count, 1/1, but that's Monaco fabric, so it's not gridded. Being brave with that one. And Nightmare's 25 count, 1/1, or Magic Grid. So, back to Trick or Treat. I had a very, very tiny start on this page at the end of last year. I'm trying to think how many pages I've done. There's 9. This was page 19. So I've got page 19 done. Lots and lots of branches and sky. And then page 20, we're back onto the house. So this is a roof here, and then there's another roof coming in there. We've got the railings on the top. Little ghosty, he was done before. So this is the piece that I'm doing for 22,000 stitches in 2022 with Full Coverage Fanatics, and I've stitched on it for 21 days this year, all in February, and I've done 11,674 stitches, so I am halfway through the challenge. I knew it wouldn't take me long to get through it because that's kind of my average number of stitches for working on something for 3 weeks. So this is going to be every other month, so 22,000 stitches was never going to be an issue on this. I'm kind of trying to do it on most, if not all, of my full coverage pieces. A stitching time will be the one where I don't hit that. But we'll see. We'll see how far I get along. So I got a couple of Whips of Wonder done for this piece, but I really enjoy working on it. Even if I do moan about the branches while I'm stitching them. There's a lot of branches, and again there's quite a few colours in this. Again, it's not max colour or anything like that. I don't stitch max colour. The only ones that have like high numbers of colours are some of the Gecko Rouge ones where they don't come in different versions, they just chart it with as many colours as they need to put into the chart. So Bizarre Bookshelf's got quite a few colours. 150 some, over 150, 156 I think. And that is enough colours for me to be juggling with. I don't like having too much stuff around me when I work. But there we go. This is Trick or Treat, and that was my stitching for February. As I said, for March, for my Whip Go, I've swapped in another project. That is Snow for Christmas from With a Needle and Thread. I started it in December last year, did a little bit. So I'm going to make more progress on that in March. I'll be stitching that for 10 days. For what's left of the weekdays during the month, I've got lots of other smaller projects that I can be working on, and I just dip into those as whichever one calls. The full coverage pieces that I will be doing are Unicorn and a little light reading. Unicorn will be 3 weeks. I'm hoping to make a lot more progress on that, and I'm hoping to get that finished this year. Then I will be working on a little light reading for the remainder of the month, which a few more days in it. If I had a few more days in February, I could have got that page done on the stitching time, I'm sure of it. And then the, as I said, bizarre bookshelf from Gecko Rouge. That's my kind of lunchtime and weekend mornings project. And then the Pain Free Crafts Mystery Sow, as and when I can make some time to stitch on it. So that is it. I will see you at the beginning of April with an update of what I've done in March. I do post quite a lot on, well, not as much as I should, but I do post on Instagram, so you can see updates there, and every month I do one picture of my full coverage pieces that I'm going to be working on. I'm counting the Pain Free Crafts stitch along as full coverage. It isn't full coverage, but there's a lot of stitching to be done in it, and some sections are. It's not being used in any of the full coverage fanatics challenges, the same as Unicorn, because it's not a full coverage, but it's bigger than my other stuff. So that's kind of why it gets pulled into those bits. But I will see you then. Come back then, and I hope you can find some time to stitch your happy in March. See you later. Bye bye.